Hi, I'm Jim Merritt, and welcome to Jim Merritt's Indiana. Today we're going to visit Michigan City, Indiana, and specifically the Swanson Center, talking with the CEO, Mr. Dan Peck. Dan and Swanson have a great story to tell. They are expert in mental health issues and addiction issues. I hope you enjoy this podcast because it's so important to talk about comprehensive mental health care. And it's a very, very special trip to Northwest Indiana, and I hope you enjoy it. Today we're in Michigan City, LaPorte County, back up in the region of Northwest Indiana. And here with me is CEO Dan Peck. We're at the Swanson Center. This is a comprehensive, expert-driven community center for mental health, behavioral health, along with addiction services. You all know I've spent a lot of time in the last 5 years working on addiction issues, along with looking for comprehensive care for those that are suffering from mental illness. And we don't have enough in the state of Indiana. And you've viewed my podcast at Sea Purpose in Bloomfield, Indiana. And we'll be having a podcast from Harbor Light, from the Salvation Army, another comprehensive offering of services to those that are suffering from mental illness. But Dan, you know, there's a challenge to LaPorte County. There's a challenge to you, and you have 100 employees here, over 3,000 individuals that have been served, and a 3-day intake, and going through a complete year of COVID. And I'm lucky that we have our mask off so our followers can listen to it. But tell us a little bit about the challenges for the last year and what you see looking forward.
Absolutely. So, you know, along with the rest of the community mental health system in the state of Indiana, we were positioned actually relatively well for COVID. Fortunately, for behavioral health, we were on the cutting edge of telehealth prior to COVID. And so we had done a little research, we had purchased some equipment, we were just testing the water right when the pandemic struck, which, because we had started down that road, allowed us to pivot all 100 employees to working virtually literally within a week. And the nice thing about that, along with the work that the state and the federal government in declaring the emergency and allowing us to provide our full continuum of services, either by video or by phone, we were able to, without missing a beat, continue to provide services to each and every one of our clients. And since then, we have seen about a 20% increase in our service volumes. Our show rate is up about the same, about 20%. And for the last 6 months, we're setting a record for numbers served. So the need is out there in the community. And that's probably the greatest challenge, is that so many folks are coming out of the pandemic. They went into the pandemic maybe with some challenges from a behavioral health standpoint, but it really emphasized that. And so we're seeing folks come and seeking services at record numbers.
And I think let's put a little emphasis for someone to call up, and I assume it's outside LaPorte County, right?
You know, we are the state designated community mental health center for LaPorte County, so that really is our service area. However, those calls are coming from all over. And that's one of the challenges that we have here in LaPorte County, being close. We're 10 minutes from the state border into Michigan, 40 minutes out of Chicago. So those calls are coming from all over.
Yeah, I get a lot of calls from people that know that I've worked in this space, but only 3 days. 3 days, ladies and gentlemen, to call up a facility and be able to get admitted in 3 days, that is an incredible accomplishment.
Well, Jim,
that is a parachute.
I would even say 3 days is a long time for us now. Going back 3 years ago, when I took over as CEO, we were averaging about 30 days from the time that someone called the center to the time that they actually were admitted into getting services. And we implemented a new strategy called open access, where they were just walk-ins. If somebody needed help, they could just They could call, find out the hours, and just walk in, and we would process their intake with a master's level clinician and get them set up for services. So we decreased that from 30 days, and for the last year, we've been averaging under a day.
Now that's fantastic. And I've concentrated on the stigma. I've talked about killing heroin, hashtag kill heroin, kill addiction, kill hunger. Now counseling is there's still a stigma attached to it. There's a stigma to behavioral health. I call it mental illness.
Yeah.
To be very clear. Talk a little bit about the counseling goes on in this building and the expert care that you deliver.
Sure. As you mentioned, we have about 100 employees, and that ranges everything from a bachelor's level staff who would provide case management, skills training, helping folks with coping skills, those types of things, all the way up to board certified child and adolescent and adult psychiatrists, and everything in between. And so a good chunk of our staff are comprised of the bachelor's level case managers. That allows us to get out into the homes and into the communities, into the schools to provide those services. We have about an equal number of master's trained clinicians who are doing the individual therapy, they're doing group therapy, counseling, couples, marital counseling, etc. And then, as I mentioned, we have our prescribers, and we have a team of 3 psychiatrists, and we also have a team of 3 psychiatric nurse practitioners. And you know, one of the things that we pride ourselves here at Swanson Center is our ability to increase access. In many places, not just across the state, but nationally, the average length of time to be able to see a psychiatrist runs at about 4 to 6 months.
That's very, very true. That is a big issue.
We start sweating here when our wait times start approaching 5 to 6 weeks. And so one of the nice things about being a small center is that it gives us the ability to be nimble. And it really allows us to have the connection within the community.
Well, the Swanson family, you know, this is a very family-driven organization, and when you look at the website, it's all about family and mental illness, behavioral health, addiction. Can be so damaging to the family. Yeah. Talk just a little bit about the family and how you pull everybody together.
You know, one of the things that we see, Jim, here is that working on mental health or addictions is not something that is easily done alone. And so we try to find those natural areas of support. And many times with families with an individual who is impacted by chronic mental illness or addiction, those family relationships are strained, they're taxed. You know, you have you're constantly trying to bail them out of jail or trying to get them into the hospital. It's taxing. And so what we try to do is work with the family to understand that and to be able to say, but you are the only person in this person's life right now. And when we're done, you're going to continue. And so part of our mission is compassionate care. We feel very strongly about compassion. And we work with the families to understand that they have compassion for their family members. And once we tap into that, then the family's right on board and we can walk together in that journey of recovery.
Well, that is really the key to it, because people get well quicker when their family's around. Dan Peck, CEO for the Swanson Center, you've been watching another episode of Jim Merritt's Indiana. See you next time.